There we go. Good morning. I have entitled my sermon today, When the Burden is Heavy, Just Be. It is enough. And the burden right now is heavy. There's so much going on. There's still the great fear of COVID. There have been devastating hurricanes. There's tension on the national front, the international front. People are struggling. They're having a difficult time. And I listen to the news through the filter of my being a Christian. And I question, what does this mean to me? What do I need to do? Do I really believe that one person can make a difference? Boy, that's heavy. The Bible has instructed us. It gives us a clear charge, not just a suggestion, but as Christians, we are not just asked, but we're commanded to love God and one another. That comes out of Leviticus. Seek truth, John 8:32. Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with our God. And that comes out of Micah. It's a pretty clear list. And then we have the United Methodist list. John Wesley called us to do all the good we can, by all the means we can, in all the ways we can, in all the places we can, in all the times we can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. Try saying that in one breath. On top of that, my birth name was Doolittle. I was dismayed several years ago to discover that the family motto was do a little more, a little better. Are you getting the picture? It's a miracle I've had time to do anything else. Do a little more, a little better. Lou Lehman, my distant and much beloved cousin, understands this burden. I can always do more. I should always do better. Is there any wonder that my sisters and I were all workaholics? We all experience the overload and burnout in our lives. We all learn to say at a very early age, here, I could do that. Can I help with this? I can find a better way to do this. I think it's a family curse, not a motto. Do a little more, a little better. Even Paul in Thessalonians advises followers to live quietly, please God, and here's the rub. You should do it more and more. Kind of gives a theological take on a Doolittle model, don't you think? While I love the guidance in my life, I also feel the weight of the expectations. Not only should I do all I can, but I should improve every time. I work toward perfection. There's a Methodist trait for you. Will I ever achieve enough? Will I ever be good enough? Will I ever really make a difference? Yet the Bible, for all of its exhortations to do, to act, to take up the cross, also speaks of a very human weariness. Sometimes life just feels too hard. We're encouraged to rest, refresh, remember who and whose we are. The scripture from Matthew says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. I will give you rest. And he encourages us to take up his burden, Jesus's burden. He says, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Psalm 23, that was probably the first thing I learned by heart from the Bible. And my guess is we all know it. We can all recite it. The Lord is my shepherd, as it begins. And kind of like the music this morning of that Jeff played. Sometimes when you listen to the music with a different tempo, with a different feel to it, you hear the words differently. I have done that, and I do that every morning on my walk with this Psalm 23. If I say the words from the Bible, the words just fall out of my mouth easily, and they completely bypass my brain and my heart, leaving my soul untouched. Sometimes I need to take the words and make them my own in ways that blend with my life and cause me to pay attention. I say it differently. Rest, so deeply desired, is not abandoning my promise. Lying down is not surrender. God, you are my solace. When I am weary, you give me rest. You give me all that I need to breathe life into my soul again. You still my mind, you ease my heart, you refresh my body and my soul. I can see again through the fog of life's confusion, and my path becomes clear. The fear lifts, and I am filled again with your peace and love. The chaos fades, and I see the simple truth of living into your ways. I know the hour will come when I will rise again and pick up my labor, and I will be ready. But for now, give me rest. Same intent, different words. When I became a Christian, I was granted prevenient grace by my first breath. My first acceptance of God happened before I was fully aware of that. It doesn't matter what I've done to earn this prevenient grace, it's there. It is a gift handed to me. With my baptism, I was saying to God, okay, here I am. Use me, transform me. Is it I, Lord? I ask the question. I know what the gift means and how it feels inside. It is a gift of freedom, but it is neither an easy or simple gift. The transformation I have opened myself to comes with the desire to share that grace I've been given, to pass it on, to shine it on others. It's not about me, but about everyone I encounter. That's something I can do. That's what the authors of the Bible meant. That was John Wesley's point. I have received, and now I know how to pass it on. And I pass it on because that is who I'm becoming. I take this grace and I move it into a way of life, the sanctifying grace. That is the path my feet are on. I want to share a few stories of simple grace. When my mother was 12, now this was 1923, nearly 100 years ago, and she would go with her mother downtown in Tacoma to do shopping. And she would stand on what was then a very busy street corner, Pacific and 11th. You know where that is. And she would simply smile at people, strangers, people walking by. I loved her smile. Her face would light up, her eyes would dance, and I can imagine the smile of that sweet 12-year-old girl. She was intrigued with how people would respond to her. Now, some people would smile back. Others would, you could see they were thinking, where do I know this child from? And then they would smile kind of awkwardly because they thought they should, just in case they knew her. But there were others who would scowl at her as if she had interrupted their litany of complaints against the world. Never stopped her. She smiled anyway. It was simply who she was, even as a child. You know, I ponder my job as a Christian. That's job, not Job, poor guy. While the burden of love God and one another, seek truth, do justice, love mercy, walk humbly, do all the good you can and do it more and do it better, I begin to feel the exhaustion creeping up behind me. How can I do all of this? I look for ways to prioritize, to pick and choose some way to cluster these to-dos and mitigate them, make them easier to manage. And, you know, I realize I'm treating it like a job. And I'm not feeling the living grace within me. I can apply all the time management skills I know, and I know a lot of them, to bring organization to these expectations. But I'm still treating it as a job. There are libraries full of self-help books, spiritual guides, how to be a better Christian, how to live like a Christian. And I think they're shelved right next to how to hold a better SPRC meeting. But that's not what I need. As complicated as the world is today, there are just times when I need to stop, step back, and breathe. Simply be the Christian I promised God I would become. Another family story. My cousin Laura Lee, she wrote to me one day about the craziness of the world, the mandates, the expectations, the cautions, the exhaustion. And then she said, no matter how bad things get, she'll still smile at strangers. She'll still entertain babies in a grocery line. She's going to hold doors open for others, comment on the beauty of the world, and tell children how good and wise and smart and strong they are. That's who she is as Lorelei, as a Christian. None of these actions burden her soul. They rise as naturally from her as the smile did from my mother's face. Then it becomes simple. I just need to be my Christian self everywhere, at all times. It's about who I am, not what I do. When I become weary, I rest in God without guilt, without making a list of the things I'm going to do as soon as I get up from my 10-minute nap. My prayer is to God. Here I am, Lord, and I need a little rest. Hold me. Remind me of your goodness and your love. Fill my heart again, for it is weary, and allow me to rise with a new spirit, eager to live into your grace. I rest in God, sometimes for hours. God brings me peace, sleep, rest, and a refreshed soul. There are days when I do nothing that anyone else would consider of value. I sit on my deck. I watch the wind in the trees, and I remember that God is breathing peace into me as well as the trees. It is enough. Mom didn't need a to-do list to prompt her to smile. She was living grace. I don't need to wear an I am a Christian t-shirt to say to the world who I am. I simply need to be what I'm becoming. I need to share the grace within me, like Mom shared her smile. Yes, it is that simple. May the words of my heart please God. And now I think we're going to move into another hymn, one that we've pulled forward from Ash Wednesday, that again speaks to God as being the quiet center of the soul. Let yourself ease deeply into this hymn.